BeakerBeat.
It's Monday, September 19, 2011. In this week's BeakerBeat, the race for the GOP nomination brings a vaccine into the spotlight, along with some controversy and confusion. We sort it out for you. Plus, a medical device maker does something unusual. They run an ad on TV. Details on that, and a Hollywood blockbuster about a deadly virus rules the box office. But is it plausible? We'll tell you what scientists think about contagion. All that and more in this week's edition of BeakerBeat, brought to you by Allergan. To learn more about Allergan, visit their company webpage on Beaker.com. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice, thanks for tuning in. We're back here at the farmer's market picking up some flowers this time. The last time we were here, we went through the fruits and vegetables, and I think we've sort of been kicked out of that area. Too many free samples. Anyway, here's this week's top story. Last week, GOP presidential hopefuls gathered for a debate in Tampa, Florida. Among the many topics and sparring points came an issue that involved the life sciences industry, specifically a Merck vaccine, Gardasil. Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann calls out Texas Governor Rick Perry regarding his 2007 executive order mandating that Texas teenage girls receive an HPV vaccine.
The governor's former chief of staff was the chief lobbyist for this drug company. The drug company gave thousands of dollars in political donations to the governor, and this is just flat out wrong. The question is it about life, or was it about millions of dollars and potentially billions for a drug company?
The company was Merck, and it was a $5,000 contribution that I had received from them. I raised about $30 million, and if you're saying that I can be bought for $5,000, I'm offended.
Now, we won't get into whether Perry's order, which was blocked by the Texas legislature after a storm of protest, is right or wrong. That's for you to decide, but here are the facts. The drug company Bachmann refers to is indeed Merck, who makes Gardasil, which prevents certain types of the human papillomavirus, or HPV. Bachmann mentions a lobbyist, that's Austin lobbyist Mike Toomey, who was Perry's chief of staff in 2002 to 2004. The Houston Chronicle reports that campaign finance records show Merck has contributed $29,500 to Perry during his entire tenure as governor, $22,000 of that prior to his 2007 executive order. The Chronicle also refers to a new report by Texans for Public Justice revealing the pharma giant has also kicked in $377,000 to the Republican Governors Association since 2006. That's the same year Perry became involved as a driving force behind the organization's fundraising. The RGA has given Perry $4 million, more than any other source of funds during his decade in office. So in sum, it's clear $5,000 is incorrect. Donations aside, the FDA and CDC say the vaccine is safe and effective. It's not perfect, with about 30 deaths reported, but that is less than 1/100% of all the doses given. It would be unfortunate if this dust-up resulted in an anti-vaccine scare similar to the one that occurred in 1998 after bogus research from Andrew Wakefield sparked international concern over whether childhood vaccines cause autism. Gardasil, the product, should be seen as an example of the good work that comes from our industry. Hopefully the marketing of the vaccine won't obscure that fact. So tell us what you think about this story or any story that you see in today's show. It's very simple. Click on the orange button below me. A box will pop up. Type in your comment. Send it to me. I promise I'll read and respond to every one of them. And when you're done watching BeakerBeat, check out Beaker's blog and see why Boston Scientific's new CEO hire is fueling merger speculation. Plus, Allergan's Botox fixed lines on the face, and now they may have found a treatment for baldness. And find out what you get when you cross a cat, a monkey, and a jellyfish. No, it's not Jeremy. Those stories and more on Beaker's blog.
When's the MRI? She's got something better.
Last Thursday night offered a groundbreaking moment in the history of medical device marketing, and unless you're a hardcore college football fan, you probably missed it. Halfway through the LSU-Mississippi State football game on ESPN came Samsonite's ad. The product is a mobile ultrasound solution that caters to athletes and potential injuries on the field. More so than the technology, the presentation, format, and messaging takes medical device marketing to a whole new level. We've all grown accustomed to, and mostly bored by, the regularity of direct-to-consumer pharma commercials that flood the airwaves. Watch the nightly news on any network or a Sunday afternoon PGA Tour event, and you'll be bombarded. Thus, it's difficult for a product to separate from the pack. Perhaps this campaign, called the Rehabilitator, and the imitators that will no doubt follow, can change that. Kudos to Samsonite. Hey, Bumblebee, that pollen's not free. Did you pay for that? Senator Dan Coates of Indiana called on his fellow legislators to wipe out the 2.3% medical device excise tax set to begin in 2013, saying it could result in job losses. He said, quote, "This is one industry that is clearly being penalized for being successful, and it's hurting our economy, and it's hurting our ability to provide job growth," end quote. We've had several responses to our story on this topic last week, and we'll have those for you in the coming weeks when we visit AdvaMed 2011, the MedTech conference. We hope to see you there. GE announced a plan to team up with 4 leading life sciences venture funds to offer a $100 million global challenge to developers of advanced cancer diagnostics. They also announced a $1 billion plan to beef up R&D investments in cancer detection and treatment over the next 5 years. But wait, there's more. GE will develop a super database built as a central repository on clinical, pathology, therapy, and outcomes data that can help drive new products. They plan to initially target breast cancer diagnostics with a special focus on personalized treatments. Medicago has opened a 97,000 square foot vaccine manufacturing plant in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. This comes a year after receiving a $21 million U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency grant. The company can produce 10 million vaccine doses per month in the new facility, and it is designed to ramp up production within 3 months for a pandemic or biological threat. Sanofi's acquisition of Genzyme isn't looking so smart right now, as the company has yet another supply problem to deal with. Blaming a manufacturing snafu and processing changes, Genzyme said its Cerezyme drug for Gaucher disease would run short beginning next month. The Cerezyme shortage comes just days after Genzyme announced its Fabrazyme drug wouldn't ship this month as planned. Genzyme will ration the drug accordingly. Pfizer's cutting some 500 jobs in Germany, or about 1 in 8 of the company's workforce there. As usual, drug reps and admin folks will get most of the walking papers. The job cuts are part of Pfizer's previously announced global restructuring, which will cut 20,000 jobs and save billions annually. However, there is speculation that the cuts are partly due to the government's new austerity plans for drug spending. Those plans include price caps on existing drugs and the burden on new drugs to prove themselves better than existing treatments during their first year on the market or face government-imposed prices. Hey, look, Jeremy, these things are like little red willy worms, although I'm not so sure they're good at predicting the winter weather. Merck plans to invest $250 million into various funding sources for young companies under an effort dubbed the Merck Research Venture Fund. The second largest U.S. drug maker wants to back venture groups around the world that are investing in biotechs. So far, Merck has found one undisclosed venture firm partner as the company looks to gain early looks at hot science. That's according to In Vivo Blog. This follows its Global Healthcare Innovation Fund, announced early this year to invest $250 million in non-pharma deals such as health IT and health services. Pfizer's holding off on the sale of its nutritionals unit, which could be worth over $10 billion. Bloomberg reports the company is still looking at the tax implications of an outright sale of the business, weighing the payoff to investors against the tax-free spin-off deal. Now that is a cactus, Jeremy. Pretty impressive stuff. Now it's time for our final story of the week.
As of last night, there were 32 cases.
Unfortunately, she did die.
Usually when Hollywood tries to tackle science in a film, especially life sciences, they bungle it badly. Remember that stinker Outbreak? But with the recent box office hit Contagion, they may have gotten it right. Well, mostly anyway. According to scientists and the CDC, the premise of Contagion is plausible. Unlikely, but plausible. The premise of a new virus jumping from animals to humans and being passed around the globe quickly sounds a lot like the bird flu panic from a few years back. Now, the film employed several expert consultants and went to great lengths to get scientific details correct. The fictional MEV1 virus is modeled on the Nipah virus, a dangerous bug first seen in Malaysia a dozen years ago that spread from pigs to farmers. However, experts doubt that a new virus could be both so deadly and contagious at the same time. Plus, in the film, about 1 in 5 people are infected, which is highly unlikely. The infamous Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 to 19, the modern-day measuring stick, if you will, for an international contagion, killed about only 1 in 100. There are other mistakes as well. The vaccine distribution is faulty, and human testing for such a vaccine would take months, rather than a scientist using herself as a test subject. Overall, health officials say they were very pleased with the film, and CDC officials have embraced it. The agency allowed filming at their main campus, the first time it has allowed a major motion picture studio such access. And CDC officials have opened up their schedules for media interviews, panel appearances, and live internet chats to talk about the movie and potential real-life contagions. All right, Jeremy, I found the perfect plant. It's ugly, it's weird, and a little prickly. Just like you. Anyway, that's it for this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Sit, Beaker. Sit. Good dog. Jeremy, get away from there. The nectar's not free.